Communication is critical for effective leadership. Yet, it is often one of the most challenging leadership skills because it's so easy to say, but not so easy to do. Have you ever thought of communicating so effectively that you connect with your audience? You inspire them than having a mere flow of information. Have you ever thought of communicating with such an impact that people remember you? Hi everyone, a very warm welcome to Career with Kalpi. I hope all of you are keeping safe. In the last two sessions, we highlighted the importance of networking and investing time in building professional relationships. In today's session, we'll focus on the importance of building effective communication skills. Leaders need to be skilled communicators in countless relationships at the organizational level, in communities and groups, and sometimes on a global scale. Moreover, we all want to create a positive impression and impact with our communication. Today is a very special session that we are doing together with Lean and Aspire to Inspire. We not only have a special guest with us, Shefali Sonpar, but also a group who is going to deliver their powerful speech on this forum. Shefali is an experienced leader with 20 years of corporate experience. She has led teams to deliver large global transformation programs. She is a recognized industry influencer and keynote speaker at international conferences. She speaks in the subjects of technology, insurance, and women empowerment. Apart from this, she loves to mentor women leaders to achieve their maximum potential. Shefali has spent a number of hours with this group spread over 8 weeks, as well as spent time with them one-on-one to work on their communication skills. And together, they've put together this show. Hi, Shefali. It's so amazing to have you here. I'm looking forward to your speakers group grand finale. Without revealing more information about it, I'll just hand it over to you.
Thank you so much, Kalpi. It's an honor that you're allowing us to use this platform. It's an amazing platform, and the fact that we are all part of the Lean community. That's what we all do, don't we? Lean into each other, try and learn the best skills from each other, and help inspire each other. It's all about community and taking the best from each other. I'm going to lead you on to Tej, who's a power community builder and a huge propagate of what community can do to each other. Over to Tej for her share on what community can do to all of us.
Thank you, Shefali. No man is an island, and this is something I learned to be true for myself. As I grew up, I realized that this is something that is important for everyone. I had some myths about communities, which was busted when I joined the Lean In A2I. Today, I'm going to take you through my short but interesting journey of how my myths were busted and what were the learnings that I had by joining this group. So the first myth that I had about communities was that it's okay to be all by yourself, right? I was an introvert and I was all day sitting in my room, not really playing with the kids outside. And I would just read books and wonder how my life could be as beautiful as the picture book. The first thing that I learned there was that it takes commitment. And commitment starts with you. You have to learn to work with your community, to work with people around you, to show the commitment, and that is when you receive it back. In school, I had a friend, and she once told me, it's okay if you don't have more best friends for life, because we are here and we will be friends for life. Being the introvert that I was, I thought, this is an easy way out. And let me tell you, she was fabulous at networking. And I thought having this friend should suffice because she can always connect me to the world outside. That was the second myth that I had. And that was busted because in Lean In, I learned about camaraderie, where it's important to know people around you. And it's important to be there when they need you. And that's when they will be there when you really need them. The third myth that I had was that communities may not be a good influence. So how did this come? When I was in college, my grades started to drop because unlike what my friend had told me, I decided, let me go out and make some friends. And as I did that, I probably did not choose the right pack of friends, maybe. And that's where I realized that my grades were dropping, I wasn't focused with my work, and it really put me down when I realized that I wasn't doing well. But Lean In taught me that every learning is a lesson in itself. It's okay to fail because there is a lesson learned there. And the community is always there to back you up. So to summarize the three myths that I had, what I learned from Lean In as part of the learnings, the very first one was about commitment, where you need to put your best foot forward, and that's when you gain the wealth of your community. The second one was really about camaraderie, being there to back your community up as they are always there to back you up. And the third is about celebrating your wins and celebrating even your failure, because that is always a stepping stone to success. So thank you for this amazing platform that helped me grow, not just as a person, but even professionally. Thank you, everybody.
Fabulous, Teja. This could not be a better introduction to Lean In and the community we've created over here that's allowed us to be here. All of us are collaborating with each other, helping each other grow. And the one person who has been the seed of this community has been our leader of the A2I Lean In community, the fabulous Neha Agarwal. Neha is going to show us how community has been created, but how we can all collectively become better and more than ourselves. She's going to talk to us about collective intelligence. Over to you, Neha. We are so eager to listen.
Thank you, Shefali. Nobody is an expert on internet. Every fact is somewhere contradicted on internet. Having a contrarian view is the new normal. The social media and the knowledge on internet has grown multifold in every direction. This was my rant a month back. Hi, I am Neha Agarwal. A month back, I was contacted by a dear friend, Mr. Madan, to speak on unconscious bias. The topic was of great interest to me, and the moment I started researching more and I went on internet, I was so confused that these were the exact thoughts in my mind. When I took the dip in the holy Ganges of internet and I saw Vishwaswarupa of bias, I got thoroughly confused. I was feeling shit. I don't know anything. How am I going to deliver the presentation? That is when I turned to my community. I reached out and I said, I'm in shit situation. I don't know how to do it. And Shashwati immediately came to my rescue. She's a diversity and inclusion expert. She immediately quarantined my thoughts. She told me that how long is the presentation for? I said only 30 minutes. She said if it's 30 minutes presentation, you don't have to fret so much. She immediately asked me the outcomes I am expecting, the outcome my friend is expecting, and the demographic of the audience. That gave me a lot of perspective. She gave me a framework to work upon. With that framework, I went to 3 people: my husband, my best friend Sunil, and my boss. These three are amazing people leaders, and they have worked with thousands and thousands of people in their careers. So I took their perspective and the storyline emerged. They told me that you have studied all about unconscious bias, but what about conscious bias? I was like, yeah, this is something interesting. I went on internet, and when I studied about the topic, I realized that our brain is bombarded with 50 million pieces of information per second. But what it can actually take is 50 pieces, and what it processes finally are only 7 pieces. So the journey of 50 million pieces to 50 pieces is what is unconscious bias all about. And from 50 to 7 is the conscious bias. And this conscious bias is what organizations use to train their employees. Their mission statement, vision statement, the key leadership principles operate out of this space, and they auto train people to act in a certain way. With this data point, I went to AWS, my dream organization. I presented, I integrated their leadership principles with this conscious bias. And they have a leadership principle which is called bias for action. So it fit beautifully in the presentation. Everybody was happy. I was very happy. But that day, I learned something more than unconscious bias and conscious bias. That is mind your own mind. It is all in the mind, and if we feel we are exhausted, we are confused, we will definitely not be able to make it. So minding our own mind is extremely important. Second very important thing that I learned: cash is not the king in the age of internet, context is. So in what context you're reaching out to your audience, what are you going to talk about, why are you there, it is extremely important. Getting the context right is extremely important to become an expert. And third and most important thing, know what you don't know. At this era of internet, very young people have become experts of the topic. That is not because they know everything. It is because they know what they don't know, and they are able to interact with people, reach out to people who are experts in the topic, brainstorm instead of staying at the periphery of the deep knowledge. They take the plunge and they divide it in small chunks, meet other people, learn from them, and then go to the world. So I found it fascinating. I am not the smartest person in the room, not even the person next to me. Who is the smartest person? Actually, it is the room itself. It is an era of collective intelligence. And when all of us work together, the room becomes the smartest person. Thank you.
Fabulous, Neha. The room is the smartest person. But it's a very interesting data point you shared. At a point, we can have as many as 50 million data points thrown on us, and our brain can process only 7 to 70 of them. But there is one tool that can help us expand our potential and maximize our ability to process, and that's technology. Technology today has evolved to a point where we have deep learning, neuro-linguistic programming that allows us to maximize human potential. The future of humans seems beyond anybody's imagination. Swapna, our internal technology expert, will be able to share how we can maximize this potential and bring in our future. Swapna, over to you.
Thank you, Shefali. Hi all. We have seen the power of community. Now let's understand the power of technology. I will start with the small example. I saw a YouTube video about a mother who could talk to her daughter or interact to her daughter through virtual reality. Definitely, the video was overwhelming. However, it made me think about these radical technologies and their impact. I am Swapna and I'm going to speak about them. These technologies, from artificial intelligence to virtual reality to augmented reality, have transformed the way we live. Our life is much more different than what it was a few decades ago. These technologies have evolved very fast. Within 2 decades, they have reached out the 50% of world's developing countries' population. Never before humans have access to such a sophisticated technology serving the basis for communication and commerce. Smartphone has become everything. I am sure many of us would be able to find very difficult to navigate urban life without the use of smartphone. Now let's see the impact on industry, healthcare. Many AI-enabled frontier technologies have enabled to diagnose difficult diseases, to extend the life expectancy, to cure many diseases. In education, due to availability of virtual content and distance learning courses, many underprivileged students are able to make use of this and they are able to learn what they want to learn. In banking, robotic process automation help to do certain mundane tasks such as filling the Excel, uploading the forms, and humans are available to do other innovative work. Big data is a new oil, right? It is an important raw material for many industries. Whatever we do today, whether we purchase something on Amazon, we tweet something, we comment something on Facebook, everything acts as a fodder for this data. With the help of machine learning and analytics tools, we are able to decipher the beautiful insights. And these insights are helping government to come up with new policies, refine strategies. PW Research has published a paper, Digital Future in 2025. It has come up with various possibilities. 8 are around 15 possibilities, 8 are positive ones, 6 are concerning, and the rest of them are neutral. The positive ones are around the usage of internet. It would be internet of everything. We would be connected to global network 24 by 7. Definitely, it would bring lot of growth, opportunity, peaceful life, improvement in personal health. The concerning one are because of the possible violence which could come due to the usage of internet. Abuse and abusers will evolve. It would impact the privacy and security. Take the example of deepfake. It is based on machine learning technology, but what it does, it alters the existing image or video with somebody else's likeness. And changing image is not new, but because of this powerful technology, the potential to deceive is very high. And it has impacted many celebrities. Their videos and images were used without their consent. But overall, with the help of this technology, our future looks very positive. But definitely, when we are using the technology, we must put an effort as a user to know about this technology. Technology alone cannot change the future. It cannot bring the fair, indiscriminatory society for us. It is together, we need to work on it. We should not be the slave of technology, we should be the controller. I wish all of you put an effort to learn this technology and contribute to the great future. Thank you.
Fabulous, Swapna, and I couldn't agree more. Unless we all are educated, unless we all learn how to be the user and possibly creator of the future of our technology, India or any other area of our world is not going to move into the future. This society is full of different kind of people and different capabilities. And it's important that we involve all those people to bring the future as a community to us. And who better than Vijaya to talk about how we can be inclusive in our education system and rise as a society. I'm going to invite Vijaya, our expert in career development, to share her thoughts.
Namaskar, Akshabko. Thank you, Shefali. Well, you heard about such high impact that our technologies has on us. Look at how our girls are flaring in STEM education in our country. India ranks at 112th position in the Global Gender Gap Index this year, which is an alarming sign when India is supposedly to be the second largest economy in 2020 globally. According to the United Nations, women constitutes nearly 14% of the total 280,000 scientists, engineers, and technologists in research development institutions in India. The percentage is despite their women-centric initiatives being run in the country. Well, why am I telling you all these numbers? One might wonder. Let me take a minute to explain with top three pressing agendas that we look at it. The first one being girls are often made to believe that they are not smart enough for STEM education or careers. The second one being research-based education in STEM areas spans over many years of academia. And in a country like India, to many mediocre families, that is unacceptable. The child is expected to start working soon. The third one being mindset matters. When girls and women believe, and we are made to believe, that they have a fixed amount of intelligence, they are more likely to believe the stereotype, lose confidence, and disengage themselves from STEM as a potential career when they encounter difficulties in their coursework. The message that we send to girls about nature of intelligence matters. Eradicating the stereotype is a worthwhile but a very long-term goal for all of us. So what ends up happening while our female students are actually aspiring in greater number than before? The number of women entering the workplace is not in the same proportion. That is where there is a lot of gap. So, here are my thoughts on what we can do next. The solution spectrum ranges from initial years of education right through the years of working. And by the way, they happen to strive at every level wherein a mind shift can happen. A mind shift to happen in our education institutes, our homes, in our country, at a government level, and in our societies. Let's look at right from the initial years of education. Here, we create awareness and motivation in our girls to join science education. Level 2, followed by a higher education providing them guidance and coaching on different STEM related career paths, along with a virtual internship so that they can experiment and further their aspiration. At a third level, which is during their higher education, when role models and mentors to motivate and encourage them to pursue research careers. That is the final nudge before they get into the world of work. And imagine the icing on the cake. If we can incentivize the talent through exclusive scholarship for females, that would take it to another level. And finally, when she is ready for office, both at a public and a private sector, create a pay parity and growth prospects for women in par with their male counterparts, and ensure women-sensitive policies are available during the critical stages of life like marriage and maternity breaks. Even if some of these realizations trickle down, Indian women, which are 8% of the world's population, will get its balanced opportunities to shine. I hope with this I've managed to create additional awareness on why women and STEM education are beautifully connected. Thank you.
Absolutely, Vijaya. I think you have made such a compelling case, and a topic very close to our heart, especially as we are in the lean in community. We all believe in helping women grow, support each other, and as our motto says, aspire to inspire other women to be their best. But the community can do only so much. People can do only so much. There's a lot of things that time takes care of also. The evolution And the space between the time gaps is what can also lead to a lot of change. I'm going to invite Jyoti to give a very different view on what time is and what time can do to us. Over to you, Jyoti.
Thanks, Shefali. Good evening, all. What is that one free thing that we all want the most, use the worst, and keep planning about it all the time? It's time. Some time back, one of my colleagues, she breathed her last. Everyone believed that she went ahead of her time. That made me think, what is this time? Why it matters so much? Few of us might be having chronophobia. Chronophobia, which is a fear of time. How we measure time against activities and events. We will be having this fear of not able to do everything that we want to do in our life, and the life becomes a race against time. That made me think, am I a slave of time? If we care so much about it, then we must know what it is, scientifically, socially, and psychologically. So what is this time? Is it a fourth dimension? Is it a place in space? Is it a measurement unit? Is it a clock or a calendar? Can we time travel? Can we stop it? If we can stop it, then how to measure the stop time? In kilometer or in minutes, hours, or second? This is a great question which no great person till date has figured it out. But there are multiple theories that exist around it. Because of the limited time, I'll be sharing 3 of them. First one is by Newton, which says time is independent of any physical object or process in the universe. Whether we give speech or we don't give, time is going to move forward and it is linear in direction. The second theory says, which is by Einstein, time is a measure of change. It's a measure of change between the relationship of two objects and between the change between two physical processes happening. Example, from the moment I started giving speech and the moment I end the speech is a measure of change, and that measure of change is called time. Third one is psychological time, which is nothing but just an experience and our perception. Example, if we just hold ourselves in plank position for 5 minutes, every second will feel like an hour. There are more interesting theories, and the interesting one is time is not very different from space. They are correlated. We cannot move backward and forward in time, but in space we can move from one place to another. Apart from these 3 theories, there are 3 approaches towards time, which we all know very well. One is present, another is past, and another is future. Present, which is a meeting point of past, and future, which is a gift. Second is past. Is it just a memory? Future. Is it predictable? Is it real or unreal? Have you heard of time travel? How to achieve it? If you can predict the present, if the present is properly known and understood, then future can be predicted and past can be reconstructed. This is how time travel is possible in theory. Among all the theories and approaches that we have seen, my take on time is not something negative or scary. It is a social aspect which help us to measure our activities against each other. It gives us a social aspect, and only thing that we can control is our present moment. So for me, the best way to value time is being in the present moment. What does time mean to you? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jyoti. That was a very differentiated view on time. The only thing we can control is our future. Future presents us with different opportunities. And how we accept those opportunities is where difference can come. Stepping out of your comfort zone can give you opportunities and learnings that are very, very unique. And who better than to speak about that than Kritika? Kritika has traveled across the globe over the course of her life. And she's going to share with you how stepping out of your comfort zone can really help you grow as an individual. Over to you, the fabulous Kritika.
Thank you, Shefali. So we heard some interesting perspectives about time and how as time grows, we also evolve as people and we go beyond who we are. I'm Kritika, and I hope my life story gives you a sneak peek into how you can push the envelope and step out of your comfort zones. It was the first day at the new school. I had my lunch and books ready to go. My dad and I walked to the bus stop where the school bus would pick me up. It wasn't very far from the apartment where we stayed at in Budebia, a small neighborhood of Manama, the capital city of Bahrain. For those of you who don't know, Bahrain is a tiny, tiny country in the Middle East. In fact, you can't even see it on the map. To give you context, Bahrain's population is just 8% of Mumbai's population. So here we are at the bus stop. I can see a girl already standing there with her father. I was scared. Back then, I was an introvert, and talking to a stranger was one of the most nerve-wracking experiences of my life. Well, I did not let that stop me. I walked up to her and I said, "Hi, I'm Kritika. I'm joining your school today. What time is lunch break?" Hilarious, right? Here I was talking to a complete stranger and introducing myself. And all I could think of was what time lunch break was. The girl looked at me awkwardly and with a half smile said, "Yes, we have a 1 hour lunch break. Starts at 12:30. I don't remember the rest of the conversation we had, but I do remember it to be one of the worst introductions of my life. If you had asked me at the age of 10 if I would find myself on a journey that would take me all over the world and then bring me back home, I would have said that's simply not happening. Think about it. We often have little to no reason to relocate our entire lives thousands of miles away from home, especially if we have limited understanding of the local culture and can't speak the language. We moved to Bahrain when I was 14. My dad was apprehensive, but even back then, I was very excited about the move. I perceived it as this grand adventure that we were about to embark upon. The second opportunity to live abroad came when I moved to the US for my master's. I still remember the ride to the apartment from the Austin airport. I was scared. There were knots in my stomach. I wanted to catch the next plane ride back home. I did not even know that the choice I had made to study a subject outside of my comfort zone would pay off. It was a risk. But like every other Indian student, I had poured tons of money into my higher education. And there was no way I was going to be a quitter. So I gave a bright smile, looked out the cab window, and embraced all that was about to come my way. So here are 3 things that I learned from moving countries and stepping out of my comfort zone. Number 1, you learn about the various possibilities that are open to you. You can go anywhere, be anything, do anything. For example, did you know that there's an entire city in New York which is famous for its Christmas lighting? It's called Dyker Heights, and it's a neighborhood of New York City. And over 100,000 people flock to this neighborhood every year to see the Christmas lighting. I did not know that. The second thing you learn is you learn to deal with change. When I moved from Bahrain to India, I was devastated. When I moved from Austin to New York City, I was scared. I did not know what to do. But every time I embraced the local culture, I learned about its people, the quirks, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything. And the third thing you learn is you might just make a new friend, a new connection. The first step is always the hardest, but afterwards, it's smooth sailing. It's an amazing feeling moving to a foreign land, learning about the local customs and behavior, meeting amazing people, and leaving with a greater understanding of yourself that only people who have been through similar experiences will be able to understand. It may sound cliche, But my barriers began to break down. Everywhere I went, I saw opportunities to test my resilience and my creativity. Amazing things can happen when you let go of that fear that's holding you back and you leap out of your comfort zone. So, which fear are you going to let go of today? Thank you.
Thank you, Kritika. I have a feeling after this whole journey we've been through today, all the way from building communities, learning about it, transcending the scope of time, we are now on a high. But the kind of high I'm talking about is not what our next speaker typically enjoys. Anu, our fabulous connoisseur of getting her little dope of high, enjoys in the gray space. I'm going to invite her now to talk about her little passion and what gives her the high.
Thank you, Shefali. So today, I'm going to tell you my story. I am an addict. And unfortunately, in the last 6 months, my addiction has increased. Irrespective of the lockdown or the raging pandemic or being at home, I've somehow ensured seamless availability of my weakness. It's a compulsion that gives me a space which I don't think anything else can replace. I feel my possibilities are endless. It's a kick, and the energy that I tell you is mind blowing. It's pure nirvana. It gives me the reason to get out of bed every day. And I've tried numerous combinations and variations, be it, say, peppermint or lavender, or getting a little bit naughty with chocolate, or maybe some Indian spices. But whatever be the variant, it has to be perfect. It has to be well balanced to hit the right notes. And the aroma has to be sensational. If not, it somehow makes me incredibly angry. And it's not just the consuming part, it's the setting that actually heightens the bliss. Some countries like China and Japan actually have ceremonies to celebrate this sweet moment of unison. Emotions run high on this concoction. There have been protests and wars, like, for example, the Opium Wars, the first and the second, to increase or prohibit the sale of this contraband, which actually led to the emergence of a new brew, which soon became the world's most loved. Every second, as we speak, there are 25,000 cups at the minimum downed. The elixir and the source of my addiction, it isn't anything new. It's been there for millennia. Legend says that an emperor walking through the forests of ancient China sat down to take a break. He boiled a pot of water and then sprung in some wild leaves. And eureka, a new brew emerged. It can be had with family, with friends, or alone. It's a charcha maker, a niche by itself. I'm sure you'd have guessed it. It's the humble cup of chai. But let not the modesty betray what great wisdom a teacup and tea can hold. It's given me life-changing lessons. Lessons on quality. Tea is a stickler to quality. A little bit more or a little bit less, it can actually take away the zest. So be like tea. Reduce your tolerance levels, improve your specification of what you put out there. In business excellence parlance, it's about continuous improvement, Kaizen. Lessons on agility. Look at the variants of tea out there, by color, by how it's made, by ingredients, by temperature. It's just so many varieties. It's endless. So what does it say? It's actually screaming. Be agile, be adaptable, be flexible, experiment, invent, innovate. Let go of fears, like Kritika said. Maybe it's a barrier within you. Let go of that.
It talks about relevance. Centuries old and it's still relevant. There's still tea parties that happen, tea ceremonies, so many things which happen, even businesses which call itself chai point. So stay relevant, upskill, upgrade, know what's happening around you to stay relevant. Maybe even pick up new things about technology, which is a current trend. What does the future hold for you? Maybe it's machine learning, learn something new. Emotions and tea have always gone together. It's not just the opium wars. Look at the Boston Tea Party. Kgs of tea which is dumped in the ocean and no fault of tea. Politics exists. You can't wish it away. It's as old as tea itself. Another interesting part is about creating a niche. Tea supports so many different industries, be it teacups or the teaspoon, the entire cutlery, things like high tea, or even snacks, biscuits, cakes, so many things. So be like tea there, build a community, give and receive. It just furthers your personal brand. And I'm so happy I'm part of one, the Lean In community, and the collective intelligence that it provides me with. But most importantly, it's about passion, the titillating color, the aroma, the right touch, and most importantly, that lingering sip on your lips. So engage your senses. Whatever you do it with passion. My 5 top points on tea, or what I learned from tea, are quality, being agile, staying relevant, creating a niche, and most importantly, doing things with passion. So if you want to reflect or reach your zenith, call me to get high on tea. It's perfectly legal. Till then, enjoy your cuppa. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Anu. Now, this is one tea party I am not missing. What a journey we've had today. Thank you for all the 7 speakers. Thank you for Kalpi to allow us to use this forum. The Career with Kalpi channel has been really supportive. It really teaches all of us to grow and be the best we can. Neha Agarwal, the fabulous leader of our community, thank you for having us come together so that we can give and learn from each other. The last 8 weeks have been fabulous. We all have grown as speakers. We've honed our ideas so that today we are able to present this the way we are. I have learned a lot, and I'm sure you all learned as we all shared our talks with you. I'll hand over back to the fabulous Kalpi to wrap up this session and hope we meet again.
Thank you so much to all the speakers, and thank you, Shefali, for putting together this fabulous show. It was a lot of learning for me as well as for our audience. And thank you, Neha and Lean, for this opportunity. So folks, my 3 key takeaways from this show are the following. Effective communication and effective leadership go hand in hand. Communication doesn't only mean transferring information, but also influencing people and creating an impact. And lastly, it might not be super easy to become an effective communicator or speak in front of a large group, but it is not impossible. With the right amount of mentorship, techniques and methods from trainers like Shefali, and lots of practice, you too can become an effective communicator. Thank you everyone for watching. I'm sure you enjoyed and loved this as much as I did. Please let us know in comments if there are any questions that you want to ask these fabulous speakers on effective communication, or if there is any other career path that you want to know more about. Stay tuned to Career with Kalpi. Keep safe. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.